Hello everyone, and welcome back again to Z-Man, Zombies, Movies, and More. Today we take a closer look at the movie Bright by Netflix, the $90 million production that is currently doing quite well on Netflix. And we have some information. It was starring Will Smith and Joel Edgerton. They play the two main characters, and directed by David Ayer.
Yep. And we are going to go into some major spoilers, so...
Major spoilers.
If you have not seen yet, and you don't want the movie to be spoiled, please go watch it first, and then come back and watch
Yeah,
the video.
definitely come back though.
Yeah.
You gotta come back.
And watch it.
And watch it.
Watch the movie.
Well, watch us.
And watch us.
And the movie.
And then the movie. And watch us again.
Because we need the views. And the likes and subscribes. So, let's get straight to it. So, again, we had this $90 million budget. This is the highest undertaking for Netflix for a movie.
Yep. And, I mean, it was AAA all the way. They were marketing it really hard,
Yes.
pretty well. When we watched The Last Jedi, it was... we saw a trailer before The Last Jedi. So, really well done with the marketing. Huge budget. Obviously, you landed Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, so
Yep.
you have a presence there. And it just generated a lot of buzz. But, I mean, it was well done. I
Absolutely.
think generally we both liked the movie a lot.
But you know, it was interesting enough, we're not seeing the same thing from the critics. So, I just wanted to throw some numbers out here. So, Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave this one a 28%. And I'm sorry, I thought that basically means like you shouldn't even waste your time.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure we were not watching the same movie.
We were not watching the same movie at all. And
I think there was one
for the Last Jedi to have the inverse, so that the
Yeah.
critics gave that like a 90-something percent. User scores are around 50 right now,
yeah,
mid 50s,
Mhm.
and the users are at 88% on Rotten Tomatoes for Bright, and
Right,
28% critic review.
It doesn't make any sense.
It just goes to show you that I would never trust a critic review of
No.
a movie. I think the user reviews are always going to be a little bit more reliable.
Absolutely.
But even then, if you're interested in something, watch it.
Just check it out. I mean,
for
don't.
yourself.
Somebody, I mean, no doubt. I sometimes go to critics, like even for like video games, some of the things. I'll just take a look to say,
Yeah.
what's the idea? But
Yeah.
honestly, you just can't really trust them. You just don't know, and you don't know if they're getting paid behind the scenes, or maybe they're part of an organization that supports Disney or some of the other
Right.
ones that we talk about.
Or
So
they're looking for a like certain unique or specific thing, and
yeah,
I think David Ayer did a great job of building a world. It's set with, and we mentioned this. I don't know if we mentioned this yet. So
Yeah, let's talk
you
about
got elves, you got orcs, and you have
yes.
humans, right?
Yep.
So there's a
Humans.
dichotomy of these different races, and it's present day, but it's in a different universe, as if there was all this history with all these other races
always
from the past.
always existed.
That
Yeah.
kind of built conflicts and ended up in where you are now. I think he did a really good job of building that universe, making it believable, and showing that conflict. And the conflict just kind of comes out in the scenes. Like you see it between the different races in each scene. It's very apparent.
We talk racial division. I mean,
Yes.
it's a huge thing in this one, and you can see how they relate to even today's events. So you
Yeah.
know, it speaks to the people.
Yep.
And when you look at the high elves, so the elves are basically running everything, and they're very rich and powerful. And then you have the middle class kind of humans or whatever in between, and then the orcs, the lowest of the low, unfortunately. And Jacoby is the only orc on the police force.
Yep.
So they're doing a testing phase, and of course he gets partnered up with Will Smith. And so you see these two very slowly start to grow, but barely, because Will Smith has some kind of background where he was shot in the line of duty by another orc, and Jacoby was there to see it, and he was like grabbing food, and so he chases this orc down this alley, and then it kind of cuts off. We don't really get to see what happens, but there's a lot of cool backstory that they show you later on to kind of finally connect everything and to show this bonding between both Will Smith and Joel Edgerton. Joel Edgerton, I already like as an actor.
Yeah,
He's just
I do
really
too.
cool. He was in that movie. What is it?
Warrior.
Warrior.
Yeah, with Tom Hardy.
Oh man,
Great
what a
movie.
great movie.
Yes.
He's in a more recent one. I know Justin hasn't seen it yet. We're going to talk about it, but They Only Come at Night. Very creepy, very dark, reminiscent movie. Anyways, he's been in a lot of great roles.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're definitely enjoying what we're seeing with this, the fantasy pieces, and then the magic.
Yes.
So we're talking this. So there's a wand, and I gotta be honest. When we first heard wand, it was kind of like, okay, what are we, Harry Potter in this up? So
Yeah, I
mean,
went straight to Harry Potter. I'm thinking of like his wand.
is it kiddish? I don't know, but I'll tell you, this is not kiddish. I
Yeah.
mean, from the beginning, you see that this is, I mean, they're dropping language, they're dropping just, I mean, you're seeing that racial just division, you're seeing the gunfights and everything's just very well done.
Yes. And the wand sequences, so like,
Oh, the wand,
I mean,
yeah.
the wand, when you see, and there are certain users of the wand, and they're called brights, which is
yeah.
the name of the movie.
Yeah.
And typically, it's only elves who are brights and can use wands, and that kind of ties into the racial divide. So if the elves have the wands, which, by the way, the wand will basically grant you any wish that you want.
Yeah,
so
it gives you ultimate power.
Ultimate power. So with the elves wielding most of the wands, then obviously they have most of the power.
And there's not very many of them, it sounds like.
There's not very many, yeah, and that's where you get into like they don't explain like everything, which okay, that's you can't really do that.
Need a
but
4 or 5.
The way the movie sets it up, wands are very, very rare. So this is L.A.
Yeah.
You have a wand that kind of shows up in a neighborhood, and it's like people. It's almost like people have never seen one.
No, right?
Judging from the reactions in the movie, so it's
they call them ghetto myths.
Yeah.
Just because. I mean, in the ghetto, because all these guys, they want it so bad because they want to get out of their lifestyle. They want the power.
So it's obviously something that's super, super rare. But the sequences when they shot it, I mean, this wand is almost like a molten like substance whenever someone wields it, and the screenplay and like the video
very shaky
work was very shaky.
Displacement
and you just get this displacement aura around.
And this thing can do more than just grant wishes. I mean, this thing gets you smolder people like into the wall. I mean, it's just so they. When it was used, and it wasn't used a lot, but when they did use it,
was well done. I think if it was overused, then it would really take away from the effect of it. But it just made it that much more powerful.
Yeah.
And if you're not a bright, and you grab this wand,
you get a little different
you're
reaction.
You're gonna get a little jolt.
And by little,
I mean big.
You pretty much
to a crisp.
Explode. And there's a scene where Will Smith, the guys are like, "Where do they go?" Or whatever, and Will Smith's like, "I think we're breathing them."
Breathing them, yeah.
Because literally, it's just a thing of dust just everywhere, and very cool.
Yeah. So, if you're not a bright, then and you don't know that, there's no way of knowing.
You're taking a chance
unless you grab the wand.
The ultimate chance. Right?
Yeah. So really, really cool sequences with the wand.
So so everybody wants this wand. So once they start hearing about it, myth or not, these guys want it. They want it bad. So at a certain point, you have a corruption element that comes into play, and Will Smith is forced into a decision to where he either has to kill this new partner of his, which Will is not a bad person in this movie, but you can tell he
walks that line.
He's walking the line because he's not sure if this orc Jacoby, his partner, if did he betray him when he let that other orc go, right? So he's trying to figure all this out because internal affairs is involved and all this stuff, and Jacoby never really did say. And these orcs have this thing where basically they will follow the orc.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like a code. You know, they
no matter what.
They'll side with the orcs every time over anybody else, and so that just created a lot of mistrust between Will Smith and Joel Edgerton's character. Obviously, another orc is the one who shot Will Smith early in the movie, so he's thinking like, did my partner have a hand in that? Did he just not even try to help protect me because that was another orc?
Yeah.
So you have this whole this trust issue building up throughout the movie, and you get to this one pivotal point where these corrupt officers find the wand. They want to take it. They want to kill.
Yeah, they're telling Will, like, you decide now, right?
Yeah, we're going to take this. We're going to kill Jacoby, and
so
we're going to kill you too, but we're not going to tell you that. But he was basically going to, all these officers are going to turn on both of them, kill them, take the wand. And Will Smith has to make that, that decision.
Big decision.
Which is a huge decision because this is somebody you don't trust. You have these other officers in there you probably worked with for years.
But he knows that he's not certain about Jacoby, but he knows that these guys are the lowest of the low cops, right? And it's cool. He calls out to Jacoby saying, tell me the order that they're behind me, and Jacoby's confused. They go into this slow motion sequence, absolutely one of the badass scenes and whatever. Yep. Turns around and just taking them out. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. And
that's the turning point, right?
It's a turning point. And even Jacoby now, because now Jacoby's kind of questioning Will.
He's like, I'm going to arrest you. What the hell? You just killed these other police officers not knowing that they were going to kill him.
But again, back to, so you have the comedy elements all throughout. I mean, you show the buddy stuff in the beginning, even though they're not at full trust, but remember the car scene?
Yeah.
And this is awesome when Joel Edgerton's talking about how
that was good.
Humans have tells in their faces or something like that. And so he's just doing these faces or whatever. And Will was like, what's that supposed to be? He goes, haven't had enough pancakes. And it was just like, what? And then Will's like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we do like pancakes.
We do love our pancakes. He goes, tell me, what's that look where you just shut the F up and just drive to work? And you can tell, I mean, Joel is just, obviously his character thought he was trying to join in conversation, but he's like, that's the look. You got the look. Anyways, good comedy going through.
Yeah, well done. The comedy was well placed.
And the serious elements just then escalated.
The overall tone of the movie, though, was well done too, and you could feel the the seriousness of each of the situations.
Absolutely.
You could tell the rarity and the value of this wand just by the reactions of the characters around it when they hear about it and they see it and they're, a wand, like what?
Yeah.
And everybody's kind of gunning for the wand.
Kind of, and we mentioned we were drawn intent to Lord of the Rings and like the One Ring,
Yeah.
and everybody, and it's not like
drawn
and
to
the wand and the ring. No, it's not the same thing. The wand doesn't call to you, but I think it's just knowing what it can do. It pretty much mesmerizes anybody in its path once they see it.
Once you see it, and once you know it's there.
And then when I know we weren't going to talk about it a ton, but there's this secondary character, which she's an elf that she's being hunted by this like lead assassin elf who is a bright and can wield the wand. It's her wand. So through some reasons or whatever, they have this occult thing where they're trying to actually bring back this Dark Lord. It's like this big thing they showed in graffiti all over, but there's this talk that the elves are trying to bring back the Dark Lord. Well, it's just a small cult of elves. And basically, this one chick kind of defects and wants to get away from him. So this lead chick, Leela, played by Noomi Rapace, she sends her main assassin, gives her wand, which was a little weird.
Yeah,
we talked about.
We were like, why would you give up the wand, even if you trust this woman to go
It's a lot of power
assassinate somebody? Which, by the way, those elves are pretty handy with knives and blades. So if they wanted to assassinate somebody, that would probably do the trick.
But she sends her, and
sends her with the wand.
It goes wrong because this girl,
Tika.
She basically sees what's about to go down. She gets her hand on the wand, finds that she's a bright. She's been practicing a little bit, and basically takes them out. So now she has the wand. That's how she finally meets up with Joel Edgerton and Will Smith. So you're on this ride, this roller coaster ride. So now they're being tracked by cops because they think they're corrupt. You know, killing when Will Smith killed the others. You have the gangs trying to follow them because they went out of their life and everything. And then you have the special. I thought it was
magic,
the magic police. DA. So it's pretty like the magic police, which you're like, what? But
in the world, it works. Like
it does.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they're being hunted by everyone, which is cool. They're on their own, and then there's a couple of little side characters they throw in here and there. But like I said, very well done.
Yeah.
These assassin elves, totally badass.
Yes.
They murder through humans like it's butter, and it's nothing. Go ahead. I mean,
those are some of the cool scenes too. Like the fight scenes in this movie, the choreography are so well done. When these assassin elves go up against the SWAT team in this one scene,
what, 10,
12 guys probably, they're just mowing through these guys and tearing through them with these knives, and they're just like kind of effortless as they're doing it. And a lot of the times in movies like that, and you see those scenes, you're kind of like, okay, that wouldn't really happen that way.
Yeah,
you would get shot already, or like you'd never make it all the way that far.
Yeah.
Like this was believable because they were just so nimble
They
and
didn't
like
have a chance.
so fast. They're just coming at them at all these different angles and just like slicing through them.
Very cool.
It was
Very cool.
It was really, really well done.
So we were talking about elements. So you have humans are just pretty much humans, you know, just flawed in their desire for the wands. You have the elves, very nimble, very quick, and obviously these assassin ones take it to the whole nother level. And then you have these orcs, which they didn't show a whole lot about their abilities. But I was mentioning to Dustin about how a scene where Jacoby is getting rammed by this car in this mall area or whatever, this shop or whatever. Yeah. But he gets pushed up against the wall. So this car is floored, pushing his body against the wall, but it's not breaking his body. And I think that was just so cool to see the orcs cannot just be killed so easily by just running them over like you could a human or even an elf maybe. It takes more like a bullet or something like that.
Yeah, so obviously like strength, you could kind of tell from other scenes just by the size of them. A lot of them are just really big.
That's true, they were big guys.
But like it doesn't really go into a lot of detail until you see that scene with Jacoby where it's like, oh man, these guys are...
Yeah, so they could have played on some more elements, but again, you have 2 hours, and I got into about an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes, and I didn't even know how long I'd been watching the movie. I actually had to look at my watch, and I was like, because I was just enthralled. I was just like, I'm really, really enjoying this. So if you're afraid, you're like, this is fantasy stuff, wands, magic, I'm telling you, this David Ayer and this group and the writer, and you mentioned his name.
Max Landis.
Max Landis. Yeah. So the way they wrote this up, I mean, it's a very edgy, just kind of, if you ever watch End of Watch with Jake Gyllenhaal, and there's another great actor in that too. Anyways, and there's kind of a buddy cop thing going through this drug search or whatever. But it's got that feel, but even grittier. I mean, it just feels good.
Yeah.
And the magic is just a portion of it, but it's very well done. Enough to where you're like, okay, I don't believe in this magic crap, but hey, still pretty cool effects. Right. So good job there. Yeah. So what would you give your overall number for this?
I would give an 8 out of 10.
I'm going to give an 8 too as well.
Very well done. Enjoyed the movie. I'm going to watch it again just because I want to see if I missed little pieces. I'm sure I did. Yeah. And I enjoyed it enough that I would definitely watch it again. If you have a Netflix subscription, I mean, watch it. There's no point in not watching it unless you're, like I said, if the fantasy thing throws you off, it's just really not very whimsical fantasy. It's very gritty.
Dark and gritty.
And gritty. So
I feel like Nolan films kind of right?
Uh-huh.
With the Batman?
Yeah, if you like a good cop drama, then I'd say give it a shot, and you'd probably end up liking the movie anyway. So,
cool.
And we said too, I think it leaves an opportunity to give maybe some spin-offs
Yes.
in the future of maybe a series comes out on this, whether it's
It depends how much money
Back
they're
in the
making.
past
So if
or
Netflix
whatever.
keeps pushing, like some of the other movies you mentioned, which one you just showed me a fight scene just a
Yeah,
little bit ago.
What Happened to Monday with Numi Rapace.
I just watched this scene that Dustin showed me just before we shot this. Very cool, and again, it's based around these 7 sisters
Yes.
in a world where you can only have one child.
Only one child, and there are septuplets that are born. And Numi Rapace, who is the lead elf in Bright, plays all of the 7 children.
Yeah.
And they end up
Very
growing
well
up.
done.
So she ends up growing up in each of the children has a day of the week that they get to go out and be this one person.
they're named
that
the
they're
days,
supposed to
right?
be, and their names are by the days of the week. But I mean, some crazy action.
The
fight
scene I
sequences.
watched, I mean, it felt fluid, which of course there's a lot of different camera angles, but I mean, a lot of them, she's in the same frame, and there's 4 of them, and one's a blonde, one has short.
Yeah.
I'm
Well
wild.
done.
I'm watching this one immediately. So
I'll throw it. What Happened to Monday? If you haven't seen it,
we're not gonna put Dustin's Netflix subscription out here for all of you. I'm sorry, he only gets like 5 devices, so I'm gonna get one.
Sorry.
But anyways, so check out that one as well. So
Netflix is bringing a lot of good original content, and I think they've upped their prices recently. I think they increased it by a couple bucks a couple months ago. I'm all for it. If you keep bringing content like this, absolutely. I love some of the Marvel shows in there. Daredevil, The Punisher was fantastic.
I need to check that out too.
If they keep making good quality shows and good quality content, I think we're going to keep seeing more and more of it. And I think with the user reaction we've seen from Bright already, I could definitely see a series spinning off from that, looking at some aspect of that universe. I would watch any of it. I don't care if it's 2,000 years in the past or another current story of different characters. I would watch it.
Very cool. Well, so you heard it. So Bright, 2017. Definitely go out and check it on Netflix, or if you have somebody, a friend who has an account, check it out. Again, you're watching Z-Man, Zombies, Movies, and More. We hope to bring you another review here very, very soon. So thanks for coming, and make sure to like and subscribe. See ya.
Adios.